Okay, I'm going to give y'all a minute to join me. Shit. Okay, guys, anybody that was on Facebook, you need to come on over. Yes, I'm back. So if you were on Facebook, come back and we'll start this whole kit and caboodle again. So let me switch cameras. I guess I shouldn't have ended the other stream, but I didn't know how else to get it fixed. And now I can't get into Facebook. It will not go streaming on Facebook. So who knows? Who the heck knows? Oh, now it looks like, okay, good. Now we're going, maybe. Who can say? All right, let's try this again. All right, so we're back. Yes, sorry. And now we're full screen for everybody. I took that off. I won't ever put that on again. It recommended to have landscape and portrait, and evidently it didn't work. So we will skip that too. Yeah, and if evidently when you end one Facebook stream, you get messed up with the other one, but we will not do that again. Let me close it over here because that's annoying watching yourself on another screen. So let's try this again, boys and girls. All right, let's see what we can do. Let me change cameras. We're going to start back what I was doing, but evidently only half of you were seeing the screen. So I have something on my scan mat, and we're going to scan it two different ways. We're going to go into the scan feature. Direct cut as if we were cutting something directly out that we're scanning in. I cannot do that because I have a scan mat. Scan to cut data is scanning this in to create an FCM file. This is scanning to a USB will take it to a JPEG, and this will transfer it to your Canvas workspace to trace it to make your FCM file. So it's a different method. It's if you want to work on a bigger screen than if you're working on this one right here. Okay? So it's going to scan it, it's going to transfer it, and we'll be able to go over there and retrieve it. All right, so it's done, it's transferred it. Now I'm going to leave here and we'll come back to this in a minute. Okay. So let me come back over here. My nose is itching. Does that mean somebody's coming to visit? Nobody should be coming to visit. I'm supposed to go visit somebody. All right, let me share my screen. I'm going to share entire screen on screen 2. and we will share it. Okay, so now here's my screen, and my background's not where it's supposed to be. Boy, howdy, I'm not liking this new experience. There we go. I love it when they play with things. Okay, so let's talk about how this works, and I'm going to take myself off the screen so you get the bigger experience here. All right, to retrieve that image, you go up to File, Import from your cutting machine, and you choose Scanned Image. Okay, your image will pop in. There's my scanned image. Now, if I want to use that, do it that way, then I would need to trace around the image. All right. If that's not what I want to do, I'm going to delete that, and we're going to say that's not what I want to do. You touch the leaf button and you choose an image scanned by your machine. This is the image that I just scanned, and I can crop it in so I don't see the paper part of it. And if you want outsides and insides, you choose trace areas by color. Now, it's given me a double outline there, which is very bizarre. Never seen it do that, but we'll reduce our number of colors. Maybe that will. There we go. Reducing the number of colors, took that one out. So now we have our two colors, and we'll say okay. And now if I go into my layers menu and I turn off the image, there's my cut file. You'll notice that the center of that cut file has a double cut because it was trace areas by color. So if you don't want both colors, come in and delete that second one, and then you can just cut it out of the same thing. Okay, so that is how you bring in an image that you scanned and transferred to Canvas Workspace. That lets you work on it on a bigger screen and lets you go. And these are my Wizard of Oz shoes. Okay, so now let me go back over to the machine. And we'll get me back up here. Oops, hit the wrong. And we'll stop sharing. Actually, we just want to go to this. There we go. Now this time we're going to scan to cut data. This is a totally different thing. You're going to touch Scan to Cut Data, and you're going to say Start. This is going to create an FCM file. And if you're wanting to combine things, let's say you wanted to combine a true type font with your item, then this is a good option to go. I'm going to choose by region and the outlines instead of having a double cut. There we go. We say preview, and then we say okay. Now it's going to ask me where I want to save it. I can save it to the machine, to a USB, or to transfer it to Canvas Workspace. I'll hit transfer to Canvas Workspace so you can see what it's going to bring up. All right. Now let me come back over here and go back to my screen. Okay. So now I'm going to press New, and I'm not going to save that. And we'll go up to the File, and we'll choose Import from your cutting machine and do an FCM file. And there you go. Now you can see that it did a better trace job here in Canvas Workspace than it did on the machine itself. And that could be the lighting that I have over the top of it. But I've got some open spaces. So if I wanted to fix those open spaces, I would come in here and in my layers window, look and see what I've got going on. That would be the one that I would want to tap twice. Let's reorder these. Let's move these to the top. Then I should be able to nabble. Hide them. Then you can come and take and join them. So if you have something that's open, like that's not truly open, but it is. So you can come in and zoom in and try to fix that little niblet there. And you can just minus those out. And then attach. Now it's not truly attaching, but that is the difference between the two. So depending on your artwork, depends on how well that works. You double tap to get your little edit nodes. But the rest of it looks like it would be fine. Little nugget right there. Anytime you see something you don't like, just go in and nab them. I'm double tapping to get those nodes though. Just make sure they're overlapping. But that's how you would get it. And then you can turn back on your outsides and transfer it back over. I would have probably gone in here and fixed that as well and fixed that, but you know, you do you, and that's hard for me to leave that. But why would I do it that way if I didn't want to work on it on the computer? This is an easy way to put in there, add your text. And use any of the true type fonts. I like working on the bigger screen. I will say that, but I also like the convenience of being able to do it right there on the machine. So it depends on whether I'm getting what I want. If I'm not getting what I want, then I will go in and play with it over there. But this gives me the ability to play with text and use all of the true type fonts that are on my computer, not just the ones that are built in there, which gives me the ability to use glyphs, because this is one of the places that you can use a glyph. It also lets me weld my text together, lets me adjust my spacing. So there are other ways that it benefits you. So I mean, it really depends on how you like to work. A lot of people don't like the computer, and you know, y'all obviously know I am a computer nerd. But this one, you can see if we zoom in on this text, I like that one. What is that? Beach. Let me grab and make this one beach. Okay, but you'll notice that I have overlaps here, right? And those will actually cut. So if you don't want those to cut, you go into your edit menu and you choose convert to shapes. Once you've converted to shapes, you can then weld. Where did that go? Okay. So here you go. We'll convert the text to shapes. And notice how the little nib, the things that were popping in there are no longer there. So if I do the weld button here, those got removed as well. Now, I don't want that little dot in the home. So I'm going to double tap it. I'm going to zoom way in on that first. That's something that I don't need. So I can just come in here, delete, and get rid of those. So if there's something you don't want, you can always get rid of it. Okay, so that one will be fun. All right, so that was my first task of the day. Let me find my mouse and bring it over here. That was my first task of the day. Let's come back over to me. And hopefully my microphone holds up. My things. Sometimes the microphone, my batteries are being weird lately. So I don't know. Hopefully my microphone holds up. If it doesn't, then we'll change. Okay. So that is my preferred method for that. I mean, you can do either way you want to do. It depends on what I'm doing. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Sometimes CanvasWorkspace does a better job tracing it. Sometimes the machine does. So it all depends on what you get out, what your output was. So that gives you both ways of doing it. And, you know, if I'm tracing it, if I know I'm going to need to trace something, then I will definitely scan it to CanvasWorkspace. Scan to transfer to CanvasWorkspace. It's the last scan icon. Okay. All right. So the next question was doing couching, creating your own couching designs. Let me go back over to the screen over here. And this is a PEDESIGN 11 item. Let me minimize some stuff. Okay. Now, how do you create couching? I have a few designs. Let me see if I can find those designs to show you an idea. Personal designs, probably. No. No clue. I have too many things on my computer. I will sit here and tell you, I just have too many things on my computer. It was in a folder, and I don't remember the name of the folder. So I can do a search for it, which is what we'll do. Design database transfer. Actually, let's go. Let's go database transfer. Let's go up here. And we are going to search the computer. So I'm going to go up to my D drive, and I'm going to do File, and we are going to choose Search. And we're going to choose PES. And I am going to try couching. We'll just say couch. Nothing. All right, so we'll try PES format. We'll try color changes of 1. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and leave that, take that off, and we'll say total color 1. This should give it to me because it's a single color design. We'll let it do its thing. Okay, so let's see here. Maybe I've deleted it. Aha, freestanding lace test. Guys, I'm not finding it. So I guess we're just going to go and try to remember how we did this. Don't see it. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into shapes and we're going to do a circle. We'll just start with a circle. I'm going to change to a 4x4 hoop. And I'm going to draw a circle. One of the ways that I like to do this is with a spiral stitch. All right, and then I go to my sewing attributes and I reduce the density way, way down. And I'm going to turn off the outline stitch. Well, let's go up a little bit. And then I say convert region to line, because right now this is an outline and a spiral stitch is a spiral stitch is a spiral stitch. So I can't adjust the spiral stitch or its shape. I'm going to say convert region to line. And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to zoom in. And we'll go to select and select point, and I can futz with what we've got going on here so that I get a better look in my center. All right, now from there, now that it's a line, that means it's an outline and any outline stitch can be applied to it. All right, you can come in and select it, and let's zoom out a little bit. We'll go back to regular zoom and we will go back to the shapes tab and we'll change it from a running stitch to a chain stitch. All right, so that is your basic step. Now you can change the run times. You don't need it to run a gazillion times. You only need a single run. You can change the size. You can make it bigger or smaller. But that is your easiest way to create one. Okay. Now, you could also do a different chain stitch. You could do that one, but I personally like this guy right here. You can also do a zigzag stitch and make that zigzag stitch, the density, super light. This one you have more control over. We don't want undersewing on it, but this one you have more control over. So you can spread it further apart. This is the one I use most frequently. You can spread it further apart. You can increase its width and have it do its thing. So that is an easy one. That's done with a circle. If you want to do it with text, we're going to delete this and we'll do text and we'll grab, I'm just going to do an A. What font do I have selected? Celtic Knots, interesting. So let's say we just want a serif font. We do need it to be big because otherwise we're not going to get much. And we're going to say convert it to an outline. And then I'm going to change that to a spiral fill, or a piping stitch would probably work. But we're going to try a spiral fill. And that didn't work very well. Oh, but we have a very light spiral fill. I've got to remember that. Let's go back to defaults. And then let's reduce it down. Our goal is to get lines. Let's see if we like piping better. No, don't like piping better. Well, let's do this. Let's do a motif stitch. There is a line motif that we can pick. and it's in your program files. So let's go in here to C drive, program files, x86 and brother, and then we will go to PEDESIGN 11 and choose pattern. There's our line. So the line, we can rotate it. We can make it go straight up and down instead of sideways, or if you want it sideways, you can go sideways. I'm going to go with 90 degrees. And we're going to change our size to make it maintain aspect ratio. So we'll change it to 2.5. See what that does. That's kind of our density for this. Or we can go 2. I think I like 2. All right. Now you can adjust spacing if you want to, but I think we're good with that. And then we are going to, once again, convert region to line. And then change it to a zigzag stitch. Once again, we're probably going to want to reduce that zigzag stitch. We'll reduce our density down. So that's technically how it would work, okay? But I mean, you're going to want to finesse it. You're going to need to finesse it to get things. So if I go back to that screen, how would I finesse this one? Let's go home. Let's zoom in and let's see if we can't make these lines be a little bit more of what we want. So it looks like it's making it very sharp, and that angle right there is a little weird. And somehow I've got an extra diblet there, so I would delete that. Now that's good. You have control. So if you don't like something, come in and change it. And yeah, it would kind of look like a faux chenille. This one I'd probably pull in a little bit so that it matches up more with its centerpiece. Because it looks like it got a little excited right there. And just futz around with it, guys. It's basically going to create yarn couching. And I don't, I believe when it's done stitching, you'll be fine. Okay. All right. So that's my 2 questions that came through. So I think I've answered them both. I've done it with flowers, with flower shapes. Those are kind of fun to do. Those are good. You could put a satin stitch border around it if you wanted to, because the machine will not recognize this as couching. So having said that part of this, let me do the cautionary tale here. If you do this, you need to slow your machine down when you're using the couching portion of this, because if you don't, your yarn may not catch quite as much. Okay, so make sure that you are that you slow it down. I'd slow it down to 300 to 400 stitches a minute, somewhere around there. Just making sure that that your yarn catches and that you like it. Use yarn that can go through the couching foot. So keep those things in mind, and that's how I would do it. Okay. What's happening back there? Oh, my dust cover for my ScanNCut mat decided to take a dive. All right. Next question for me. Anybody have one? If not, it was good to see everybody. I'm glad that I could join you again live today. Let's think about what we could do. So this morning on our Facebook Live for Artspira, we did some interesting little projects. And one that we didn't finish was the treat things for, let me pull this over this way. this right here. Okay, so this is in Artspira. And it really, honestly, it's just a gingerbread shape. If you find a gingerbread image, you could trace a gingerbread image. But this is a gingerbread. This is in Artspira. Okay. I want you to think about the different ways you can use this shape. We created a treat bag. Okay. So you can pop a treat in here. Now, I think they would make cute ornaments cut with a rotary auto blade. I think they would be cute on a little banner for Christmas. I think they would be cute for a stocking. So somebody asked me to get a, what am I saying? A contest going, or a idea thing going. So I want you to play with the shapes either in Artspira or CanvasWorkspace or PEDESIGN and come up with something that you can do with a gingerbread. Okay. That V-neck shaped sweater designs as a motif to play with. What are you asking? What I've got on my shirt? I'm not sure what you're asking me, DJ. V-knit shape we see in sweater designs. I need to know what you're asking me. Send me a picture of what you're wanting, and I will play with that. Okay. Just send me a picture. And I hate to say it again, guys, but I will not be here next Tuesday. It is holiday week, and I am taking it off. So, yes, that is so much fun. Embroidery sublimation, Sandra. We did that for Brother Experience, and I have a lot of that hanging out here. We also did it in at H&H show. That's one of the new features in Artspira. So if I share, let me go to Reflector and share my screen here. We can do it from PEDESIGN, but it is very easy to do it from Artspira. Let me get this to sharing my screen. There it goes. We're going to allow it. Okay, and we'll pull it over here, and we'll turn off the frame. All right, let me share my screen now. And we'll hide these other guys. Okay, down at the bottom, if you touch New, you can go to either printing, oops, cancel. You can go to printing or embroidery, and they both have Sublimation Embroidery there. So both of them have the words Sublimation Embroidery right there. There's that one, and then this one's up here. Doesn't matter which way you go, they both work. Okay. Now, you can create from Artspira designs. These are designs that are already built in. They've already got the whole shape and stuff done. So let's say you do a basketball, you say create. This is a way for you to test it out. And if you look at that, you can see that it has created a circle with alignment marks around the outside edge. Okay, so it's created a circle with that shape. If you tap print, you see those little dash lines there. Though you're going to cut inside that area on your sublimation printout. Okay. So that allows you, so you print and you cut, you embroider. You embroider this with white polyester thread. It allows you to sublimate on a dark fabric or on a non-polyester fiber. So it's basically getting you into allowing you to sublimate, because the thread is polyester. You do have to make sure it is polyester thread, and it's showing you everything that you're doing here. Okay. They give you all of the how-to information there. If you want to create it from your own images, you touch create from images. Now then you choose a photo, and I'm going to pick my camera roll, and if I touch my H here, this is a font that I created with a font decorator, okay? I can't get this kind of detail in a stitch out. I can't get the watercolor effect. I can't get that detail anywhere, but I can do it if I do embroidery sublimation. You can zoom in if you want. I'm losing some of my image if I do that, but there we go. And then you say convert. And it's going to create a shape off of my H. Notice how that's the embroidery that it's going to create. I tap create, and it's going to do its thing here for a second. So you'll notice it has created alignment marks around the outside edge. It's created the embroidery. You can toggle on the print. That's what's going to print on top of it to transfer. That's what's going to transfer. I'm going to say done, and I'm not going to save it. So I would transfer this to my embroidery machine, and then I would print this on my sublimation printer. After it prints on my sublimation printer, I trim inside those dashed lines and line them up with the registration marks here. So let me see if I have one sitting here on my desk. I do. Come back to me. Find the mouse. Okay. So this is not okay. Here's a finished one. So you can see you get the shading and stuff, and still the look of embroidery without having to do that embroidery. I mean, it's doing a white solid embroidery, but it gives you that super texture. And these are the registration marks that it produces, and you just put your print inside those registration marks. And if it happens to not catch in one spot or another, there are these things called fabric markers that you can just tap those pieces, okay? And yeah, I mean, in that H cool, that's done with a font decorator. Oops, hit the wrong button. That's done with the font decorator. So if you haven't played with the font decorator, it is a premium function. Do the trial version as a subscription. We have it for what am I trying to say? There's a trial version good for this month, I do believe. 30-day trial version. Why is that not opening? I'm trying to open your image file. Open. Maybe I hit save instead. Let's see here. So have I still got font decorator up there? No. That's fine. Faux knit. Each nested row of bees is made of 2 3-pass legs with a single pass connector. Okay, hi DJ. Let's see here. I think I know what you need to do. Okay, so hey, Terry and Meredith. Hey, Terry, give me your email address and I'll send you the flyer for the nulting long arm so that I can, maybe I can sell that thing sometime this century. Good to see y'all. Glad you could come and join me today. All right, so the faux knit. I think I understand what they're doing. So we'll try it. So let's see here. Let me go to PEDESIGN. And let's go up to option and let's choose programmable stitch creator. And we want to go up here and we want to choose new motif. Now let me pull this image back up. And I believe we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1. Okay. So I got to keep this in my head. I'm moving this over so I can see it while I'm working. That may help me out here. Let's close these windows. Okay. So I'm going to put in, actually, I'm going to take everything up to the top. We'll come in and take that arrow and move it all the way up. And then we'll click off and we'll come down and we'll go a V. Try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then we're going to come up here and we're going to take it up here to make a V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yes, it's important for me to be able to do that because otherwise I will not get it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That needs to be moved over, and this needs to be moved over. All right, so next up, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we come straight down. So I am going to make that straight down motion. We're going to make these bigger. Oh, can't do that. Got to start and stop at the same spot. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to move these over. And I'm highlighting them like that so that I grab them at the right time. I grab all the edit nodes that are underneath there. I think I spaced it out too far. Let's go to our view and change how many grid squares we've got. That may help me out here. So let's see here. What have I got? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. So this just goes straight down. According to their work here. And then you go down from there. That looks weird to me, but okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We're going to leave that like that. 5. And I'm counting here. So you're going to end . 2, 3, 4, 5, and take 1 down. Not that far. And 1. I think I went down too far here. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I counted wrong. We're gonna stop at that. 2, 3. And I'm just kind of winging this. Now, the wild card of this is to try to figure out how to begin and end it, because if I move that point right there to here, my blue point's going to come down here and I've got a crisscross. So I think you would have to do something along those lines. And let's look at our preview window. And I don't think that would be terrible, but that's what it would end up looking like. Okay, so try that, DJ, and see how that works. I mean, we could always select the whole kit and caboodle and widen it up and make it bigger to where it covers the whole space. Once you figure out your spacing and stuff, that looks like a pretty even spacing, what they did. Yeah, I'll email you this. We'll save this as, what are we saying? What did we call this? Knit, faux knit. I'll have to test that one out. I'm thinking it would be kind of fun if you scooted those rows together. Let's see here. I'm going to hold my control key down and grab these. I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah. Let's see here. Highlight, highlight. And then let's move those up. I think this would be like a Bargello. And I mean, I'd obviously have to come in and add some more rows, but that would be like a Bargello stitch, which would be kind of fun. Especially if you can create, if you converted region to line, then you could add like a, what am I trying to say? Well, let's just do it. Let's take that and change our stitch type on this. Let's change the stitch type to a motif, and let's go to my live stitches. And here's my faux knit. So what I'm stem stitch. I could not think of what I wanted to call it. Wow, that went crazy. Let's not do it on that. Let's just do it on a square. Oh, it had a motif as an outline. Pattern 1 only. Let's choose the faux knit. And let's rotate it back to home. All right, let's smush those rows together. So let's change our spacing. Wrong one. Vertical spacing. Catch up. Oh, too far. I wasn't patient enough. I think we need to do 0.5. Let's do 1. -1. And then convert region to line. Let's do that. That's still a little bit too much. I think I want 0.5. I was right. -0.5 would be about the right spacing. So let's convert that region to line. And let's see if we change that to a stem stitch. It should kind of look like a faux bargello. You'd have to have, I think I'd have to do 2 colors on this to make it truly pop. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's go to see what this looks like. May have locked it up. Let's see what we got. That's different. Yeah, no, I don't like that. That didn't do well. That didn't do what I thought it was going to do at all. So skip that thought. That was just me going off on the head, but that didn't work. Did not do what I wanted to do. I wonder if maybe we had to make it bigger. Make our pattern larger. Oh, I've got a stem stitch as the outline. That's not what I want. Different, but no, not what I wanted it to do. Wonder what a chain stitch would do on that. Ooh, no. Blanket stitch does nothing. Well, something to play with. But if you smush them together, if we did 2 rows of it, I think it would work as a bargello of some sort. Let's undo and get back to where it's a motif. So let's use pattern 1 and use pattern 2. Do the same pattern. And change the second pattern to a different color. Can we do that? No. I'd have to do that. I'd have to nest it in there later. So, oh well. Was worth a shot. I could split at point, but it's worth a shot. Okay, guys. All right. Any other questions before I say ta-ta for the day? If not, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank y'all for joining me today. Sorry it's been so long. I will not see you again next Tuesday. I should see you the Tuesday after. So y'all have a great time. Have a happy holiday. Hopefully you enjoy your Thanksgiving and everybody's family gets along and you have fun. So if you're interested in Font Decorator, go in and watch today's Artspira webinar. We talked about Font Decorator for embroidery, but it is very much the same thing for printing. And what I ended up doing was taking a screenshot of my H, cropping it, and bringing it in to do the sublimation embroidery. So that's how I came up with that whole process. I created it in the Font Decorator, took a screen capture of it, cropped it in on my device, and then brought that image, saved that image to my device, and then brought that image into the sublimation embroidery. So that's how I did that. I'll say I do I will do a lot of auto digitizing that way too. I'll bring in a cut file and fill it with color and then just arrange it the way I want it. Take a screen capture of it, crop it in, and use the auto digitizing function in Artspira to pop something out super quick. So depends on what you're doing. Applique fonts, look for the bolder fonts, okay? Look for bolder, thicker fonts. They're going to do a better job with applique unless you're making something huge. If it's skinny, it's not going to do a good job. Okay, Sheila? So just, I mean, for me to sit here and tell you a list of fonts is just impossible. Look for your bolder fonts. They are going to be the ones that give you the best results. Okay. All right, y'all. You have a great, have a great rest of your day. Have a happy holiday. Love y'all.